Welcome back to Combat Radius. Today we will be flying a teaser career mode mission for the F-84. The enemy is concentrating large amounts of infantry and equipment near the front line in anticipation for a major offensive. It is our mission to strike one of these troop concentrations before reinforcements arrive, buying time so our own troops can bring in reinforcements and build their own defenses. Here we are in the F-84. Just like the F-80 campaign mission, we're going to be taking out a flight of 8. Now, today we are going to be very heavy. We're carrying a pair of 500-pound bombs and 4 250-pound bombs. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to take off. You can see just below the landing gear lights that we are setting our flaps to 20 degrees. We're going to hold down our foot brakes and we're going to spool up the engine. Now, because we're so heavy, we're going to be using JATO rockets to help us get up to speed, but even considering all of this, she is going to be pretty difficult to get off the runway. So we're going to roll for a few seconds, and then we're going to activate the JATO rockets. Let's see if I look behind us here, maybe you can, yep, you can see the plume of the smoke. I believe we can start rotating at about 140 miles an hour, but because we are so heavy, I'm going to go a little bit faster than that, just to be on the safe side. So we're at about 150, 160 now, so now we can start pulling up, and there, she still doesn't want to come up, and oh, we are barely getting up off the ground. Next, we will bring up the landing gear, and we'll get a little bit of altitude before we drop the JATO rockets. Now, it does look like there is a river at the end of the runway, so we're going to drop the rockets a little early so we don't plunk them into the river. Here we are at about 9,000 feet. I can see the camp down to our low 10 o'clock. It looks like it's a big square encampment and it's pretty dense, so I don't think we have to be too accurate. We can just kind of drop the bombs anywhere in the center and I'm sure we'll get something. Now, I'm sure they're going to have a lot of AA, so we'll try dropping a little higher than we typically would. I'm not too familiar with the post-World War II aircraft, but I believe we should be dropping our bombs anywhere between 1,000 meters and 600 meters, or if anyone can tell me in Imperial units, maybe around 3,000 feet-ish. Regardless, I will give the command for our flight to turn and attack the objectives. So, oh, yep, there you go. You can see them turning. So we'll give them a moment and we will turn too. We did take a little longer to turn just because I wanted to head directly into the wind. I believe the wind right now is 40 miles an hour. It's very windy, so if we weren't flying directly into the wind, it would be pretty difficult to attack our target. So we are going pretty fast here. It looks maybe 470, almost 500 miles an hour, maybe a little too fast. So we're gonna drop and pickle. At these high speeds, you really don't have to lead it all that much, and I see an explosion. Looks like we got a good hit. We'll climb back up and we will drop the next bomb. We've wrapped back around to attack from the same direction simply because this wind is just absolutely brutal. But I have had a lot of viewers asking me how I get so accurate when I'm dropping my bombs, and the answer to that is I'm dropping significantly lower to the ground than I actually should be. In some of my videos, I'm dropping as low as 100 meters in some cases, which sure is great because you can be very accurate and hit your target, but at the same time it makes you very vulnerable to AA fire. Coming in for another attack here, and I think I can see some trucks near that dam, and oh boy, my monkey brain's doing everything in its power to not hit that dam instead. But we'll come in here and pickle. And I think that landed pretty much in the same place as the last one, so the damage we did was probably pretty limited. We just got a call out over the radio that our number 3 has been hit by AAA fire and he's on fire and bailing out. Unfortunately, I do not see a fire anywhere. He should be in these mountains somewhere to the northeast of the objective, but hopefully we can find him and send out somebody to come get him. Continuing on with our mission, we've dropped the 2 500-pounders, but we still have the 4 250-pounders left. Now, the AA seems to be a little stronger than we were expecting, so I think we're going to take these 4 and we're just going to drop them all in one pass. We'll just ripple fire all 4 of them as quickly as we can. We have been in the area for a decent amount of time now, so I'm sure that anyone down there who is capable of firing back at us is doing so right now. I did see some tanks down there, some IS-1s and some ISE-152s, and I'm pretty sure those all have heavy machine guns on the roof for anti-air. Of course, they're not as effective as the dedicated anti-air weapons, but if they're just throwing up that much volume into the air, eventually they're going to get some hits. And again, they've already hit one of our guys, so we want to make this quick. Because of that, we're actually going to be dropping into a crosswind here, so hopefully we can still land these on target. Now, we are dropping a little lower than I'd like, but I think we're still at around maybe 1,500 feet, and pickle! 1, 2, 3, 4. I heard all 4, and ooh! I would not want to be the guy that was in that watchtower. See, we hit the tower, looks like we got a few vehicles, and that is it for our bombs. We'll see if our teammates can do anything. Some viewers were commenting that they were unsure about the graphical quality of the fire animations, but for the most part, you're looking at them from pretty far away, at least a few hundred meters at the most, so I think at those distances they do look very, very nice. At least they're a huge upgrade over Great Battles, maybe comparable to DCS or any other modern flight sims. It's really up to taste, but we still have quite a bit of AA down there, and I don't think our flight has dropped all their ordnance. I don't want to lose any more aircraft, so we're going to see if we can thin these guys out. Now, remember that this mission is meant to be an example of a mission out of career mode, and in that you also have to manage all the pilots in your squad, so any losses are permanent. Let's see if we can hit this truck and maybe get the AAPs too? I'm not sure if we got the AAPs. We definitely got the truck, but I don't see him shooting anymore. I think we did end up getting that AAPs. I haven't seen it fire since, but you can see the rest of our flight here below us down to our 10 o'clock. It looks like they're going to be starting their attack run, all in a line. So we can follow them down and see how they do. Now, the AI in IL-2 Korea so far has been a little hit or miss, at least in regards to doing ground missions. I have noticed a few times where they will abort their run if they don't think it's good enough, and it will take them a decent amount of time to start up their next run, which I guess is realistic, so you can't complain too much about that. But it does get a little annoying sometimes if you ask them to do as you do, and you go down and attack the objective and they just kind of stay up at altitude. But I do know that that is something that the devs are working very, very hard on, and since the launch of the early access, they have made some big improvements, and they do have a few things in the work that they are preparing for the final launch next month. Now, looking at our flight, they are waiting a long time to start their dive. They're coming in pretty steep, but ooh, something's exploding down there. Look at that. There's a truck that's flying up, maybe. Wow. How up do you think that is? Maybe at least a few hundred meters. That's crazy. And it looks like the rest of the flight has got good hits on target. After the rest of our flight has dropped her ordnance, we were able to form up and make our way back to the friendly airfield. I've really been enjoying the ground pounding in IL-2 Korea, and it seems like a lot of you guys are too, so I would love to know what type of aircraft or what type of targets you guys would like to see next. Personally, I feel like I would be pretty interested in doing some tank busting, maybe even with some rockets. Although I'm not sure if the UN forces get any anti-tank rockets, but I'm sure Haver rockets or maybe even Tiny Tims. I do know that those are in the game. Those I'm sure will mess up a tank if you hit them. On the North Korean side, I do know that the IL-10s get the high explosive rockets that we used previously in our factory attack mission, but they also get anti-tank rockets. Just compared to Great Battles, you have such a huge assortment of different weapons that you can use. It's not simply, just different sizes of bombs. You have the cluster munitions, you have the napalm, you have the rockets. It's definitely been a blast so far. We're finishing up our final approach here, and we are going a little bit too fast. I forgot to put my flaps down all the way. I only had them at 20 degrees instead of 40%. So hopefully that will help us slow down a little bit. I believe our touchdown speed should be about 140 miles an hour. We're going about 190, so we are coming in hot right now. So this might be a little bit of a bumpy landing, and we're a bit too off to the side. There is a bit of a crosswind, and okay. Well, you know what they say, that any landing that you can walk away from is a good landing. So the aircraft ain't broke. More importantly, I'm not broke. So I think we can call that a success. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comment section below what your favorite part was, and I will be sure to see you in the next video. Signing off.